Hi everyone, welcome to this section of the immersive storytelling module of PhDigital Bootcamp. This first video is going to be on virtual reality. And we're going to talk about some definitions and some examples and some software and maybe clear up some of the cloud that might be virtual reality as it relates to storytelling. So the way that I describe virtual reality is that virtual reality is a simulated or virtual environment that completely encapsulates a viewer or user. And so what that means is basically the user is now transported through video or through even audio or other sensory simulation that will bring them to another place or another time or another situation. And some examples of this include 360-degree video, much like the 360-degree video that was before this one of me in the Media Innovation Lab, where you can view it in a Google Cardboard or even on your smartphone or even on a desktop computer where you can kind of peer in using what they call a magic window format, where you're kind of viewing into this 360-degree video world. And so that's one level of it. But then there's other examples like Oculus Quest, which I showed you in the video as well, Oculus Go, HTC Vive, PlayStation VR. And as you can see, there's really a wide range of immersion as it relates to virtual reality. It kind of comes on a spectrum. So you have the cardboard view, and then you have the fully immersive with the headset on. I've even been in simulations where you're wearing a vest or you have a fan on you, and there are lots of different haptic feedback that you can get through vibrations or through other sensory methods. But the overall idea here in virtual reality is in some way you're being transported to another world or another environment or another situation. So there's two main categories of virtual reality. One is a computer-generated 3D environment where you, the creator, the storyteller, is creating a brand new world using 3D rendering software, and you are bringing a user into that world where you're actually creating it. And then the other category is 360-degree video, where you're actually capturing footage using a 360-degree camera and then being able to publish that on YouTube or Facebook into a 360-degree video. And these are the two main options as it relates to virtual reality. The first one I want to talk about is computer-generated virtual reality, and some common software that's used is Unity 3D. That's the one that I use in my class. The Unreal Engine and Autodesk Maya to create the 3D assets that you can import into these worlds and then create interactivity and make objects grabbable, throwable, and kind of move around in a space. And then Blender is a free software program that you can download that will also build a 3D environment. And then you can import that into Unity, and then After Effects is used quite a bit as well. So some examples from my class that I've been grading this week have been just this beach scene that a student created where you can pick up this ball and grab it and even throw it and knock down some pins and kind of move around a space. So she built this from scratch. She imported some assets. And then this is another example that a student created where it's basically a garden that you can kind of walk around, and she's made rocks and mushrooms and things like that. You can see the beautiful sky, and it's a virtual environment that she created that I put into my Oculus Quest and was able to walk around and interact with these objects around in a space. And so it's very different from a 360-degree video because not only did she make these objects, but also it allows you, the user, to move around in a space and really be immersed in it. A lot of my inspiration for virtual reality storytelling has come from Noni de la Peña, who co-founded the Emblematic Group, and she uses Unity quite a bit in a lot of her stories. One example of this is One Dark Night, which covers the day that Trayvon Martin was shot and killed by George Zimmerman. And in this story, the user can put on a headset and walk around the area where the shooting occurred. Using actual 911 calls and police scanner recordings, she was able to create an environment that simulated what happened that night, where the user can walk around and kind of see for themselves the sights and the sounds and the situation of what happened that night. It's a very interesting story. This is another one, Greenland Melting, and this premiered at South by Southwest last year, where again the user can put on a headset and see the effects of the melting areas of Greenland. And then another one that I experienced was after solitary, where you can walk around and experience the story of solitary confinement as told by a man who lived in solitary confinement for many years. And they use photogrammetry to scan in objects. So it's kind of a combination of 360 video or photogrammetry and this Unity environment. But the idea is that you can experience and walk around, and it's telling a story of actual characters and situations that have happened. And so it's a very impactful story, and it's an impactful platform for users to experience. Now, the other category for virtual reality storytelling is 360-degree video, and some common entry-level cameras include the GoPro Max, which I showed you in the video, and the Insta360 One X, Ricoh Theta V5. And a lot of these are becoming a lot more affordable and a lot more high quality, especially at the consumer level. And some common software that's being used to edit these is Adobe Premiere, Final Cut Pro X, and After Effects. And so the concept is basically these cameras are capturing footage using as many lenses as that camera may have on it, and then it's taking those orbs or those spherical videos and it's stitching them together. It's kind of finding like points and pushing them together into what's called an equirectangular video. And it's always in a 2-to-1 ratio, and it often looks kind of like a distorted world map. Like if you have the globe of the world and you wanted to flatten it out, it's always going to look a little bit distorted in some way. But basically, once it stitches those video clips into this equirectangular video in a 2-to-1 ratio, you can actually import it into a program like Premiere Pro. And you can see here on my left, I've got my clips that I've just imported just like regular video clips, and then I can drag them into my sequence and edit them just like I could any flat video. There are a lot of plugins and features that these programs offer, like this ability to kind of preview your 360 video before you export it. They have a lot of really great video effects that you can use for immersive video to bring a flat object into a 360-degree world that won't be distorted. And there are a lot of really great plugins and features that these programs offer, but it's really, in many ways, very simple to edit these 360-degree videos. Here are just a couple examples of what students have come up with in my class. Their first assignment is to create a time-lapse video with just text and audio, just to kind of get the wheels in motion, get them to find something that would lend itself to a 360-degree view. And so I have them go through campus and find a couple places that they think are beautiful that they can upload, and we just upload it to our Facebook group. And once they get the hang of the workflow and how the cameras work, then we work on another project where they're actually a tour guide. And so they're talking to the camera as though it was a person. And so in this assignment, they learn a little bit about what it means to tell a story to someone who is in VR. Because if they think about the user in mind, that user is putting on a headset, or they're basically being a character in the story. It's not like a flat video where the user can kind of watch and be kind of separated from the video. As soon as you put that headset on, you are now immersed in the story and you're a part of that story. And so their second assignment is where they're actually talking to the camera as though it was a person. So they have to think about things like camera height, the fact that they should probably keep it at eye level because this is a person that they're talking to. Other things that the user may be looking around, so they're going to be using a lot of gestures, and they're going to be talking to them in ways that will help guide the user's eye through the story. And so this one has a lot more to do with storytelling and some of the challenges of telling a story to someone who has free agency to look wherever they want. How do you guide their eye? How do you tell a story in that regard? So there are a lot of challenges to this, but students have a lot of fun with it, and they learn a lot of different concepts and skills in the process. And so it's very exciting in virtual reality today. I think for storytelling, there's a very low barrier to entry. A lot of big tech companies are putting a lot of resources into it. Obviously, Facebook is supporting 360 video. They're also creating a lot of hardware like Oculus Quest and Oculus Go. We have PlayStation VR. We have YouTube and even Vimeo supporting 360-degree video. And so the barrier of entry is getting lower and lower. The quality is rapidly improving, and software is more and more becoming free and accessible to students and storytellers especially as it relates to inexpensive cameras that large journalism organizations can purchase and very quickly get a 360-degree video up, and it really doesn't take as much time as you might think. So it's very exciting times for virtual reality and 360 immersive video content. And so in the next video, we're going to talk about augmented reality.